Hi mamas, welcome back to our channel. I'm here today to talk to you about a very hot topic among mothers who are getting ready to have their first babies. What to pack in your hospital bag. I'm gonna share with you what I packed in my hospital bag, give you a couple little tips and tricks, and let you know what things I packed that I didn't end up using. If you find today's video useful, be sure to give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and leave us a comment down below letting us know what you're planning to pack in your hospital bag. Or if you've already had your baby, what were your favorite items to have in your hospital bag? Okay, so when it comes to packing your hospital bag, unlike any other trip you've ever taken before, you're packing your hospital bag for yourself, your partner or your support person, and your new baby. That's 3 people, 1 bag. The first thing you're going to want to think about packing is all of your necessary paperwork and information. When I was getting ready to have Louie, I made sure that my wallet had everything that I needed in it, and I kept my hospital paperwork right in my wallet. I was able to fold it up nice and small. I do have a bit of a big wallet, so that worked really well for us. Any papers that would not fit, I put in a Ziploc bag, and I kept them very, very handy close by. I knew exactly where they would be. If we needed them in a pinch, I could just grab them and head on out the door. Now, the next few things to think about packing in your hospital bag are perhaps those really fun items. What are you gonna go home in? What is going to be your going home outfit, and what is going to be your baby's going home outfit? Oftentimes for new moms, that going home outfit is so important because you know it's going to be your first little photo op as a family. For me, I had to think about what could I go home in that I'm going to be comfortable in, but I'm still going to feel a little bit put together. One really great piece of advice that my friend Helen gave me was prioritize comfort over cuteness, and make sure that you find the biggest, darkest pants you can possibly find because you're going to be going home in a diaper too. So what I did is I left the yoga pants at home. I had heard way too many horror stories from girlfriends about going home with a diaper butt, and I went out and I found the biggest, darkest sweatpants I could find. I found this really, really great pair from Joe Fresh. They were still tapered in the leg. They looked cute, but they were very large and very comfortable, and I knew that I would feel good and I would feel protected in them. In addition to my dark sweatpants, I just paired that with a really simple, cute boyfriend style black t-shirt, and I was good to go. I went out and got this really cute and comfortable, but still relatively basic robe from Motherhood Maternity. It was the perfect robe to wear my first day as a new mom. I felt like a goddess in it. It was so comfortable. It was so easy for breastfeeding access, and just to really feel comfortable, not too hot, not too cold. It really provided me the best of everything. So in addition to my going home outfit, the robe that I lounged around the hospital in, I also made sure to pack a couple different comfy sports bras, as well as a whole bunch of maternity underwear and socks. It was also really key for me to pack several different sports bras because not only are they comfortable and again, relatively easy access for breastfeeding, but I knew that if my milk came in quickly that I would want to be able to change that sports bra out. In addition to packing these items, I also packed flip-flops for myself to be able to shuffle around the hospital in. I packed slippers and I packed sneakers. The sneakers were a no-go, my feet were too swollen. The flip-flops were really, really, really great to have because turns out I was a little bit too sore to be bending over to put on slippers. So just being able to pop on those flip-flops both during labor and after labor. Make sure you pack a pair of flip-flops. Even consider packing more than 1 pair just in case the first pair gets a little bit messy during labor and delivery. The next things I packed for myself, of course, were pads and a pair of Depends. I packed so many pads and so many pairs of Depends because I heard some preferred pads, some preferred the Depends, and I didn't want to have to go without. Now, I didn't end up touching my own personal supply because this is something that the hospital provided for me, but I felt really good and really prepared knowing just in case I ran out that I had a whole bunch very close by. Now for additional personal items for myself, I packed a makeup bag. Now this is one of the biggest tips I can give you if you are a makeup person like me and you know that you're going to want to have some kind of a face on when you're going home from the hospital or for visitors. I cannot recommend enough going out and buying a secondary makeup bag and cheap versions of what your staple favorites are, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you go into labor and you're having to pack your makeup bag at that point in time because it's something that you use every single day. So for me, I packed my hospital bag at about 34 weeks pregnant. I went out and I bought like $10 BB cream, I bought bronzer, I bought mascara, just extras that were very affordable to be able to stash away in a makeup bag and put it away in the suitcase. Now the other thing that I did was I kept all of my makeup brushes, my favorite ones, in a Ziploc bag, and I just put them away in the Ziploc bag every single day after I used them. So again, if I went into labor, it was just a a quick grab and throw in the bag versus having to pack an entire makeup bag. The other thing I would recommend buying doubles of is deodorant for you and your partner, in my case, my husband, and buying an extra toothbrush and toothpaste for you and your husband again. They're not expensive items, and it's so nice to have extra new ones just packed away in the suitcase that you don't even have to think about it. Other very important items, a water bottle. It's always nice to have your own water bottle on hand, and so important to stay hydrated. An extension cord and a phone charger. Again, these are extra items that I packed away in the bag so I didn't have to worry about scrambling around and getting them at the last minute. The extension cord is something that I cannot recommend enough, because if you are like me, you're going to be all over social media, you're going to be all over your text messages, letting your friends and your close family members know that your baby has arrived, or you may be killing time on your phone while you're in labor. For me, I checked into the hospital around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He wasn't born until 1:54 the next morning, so that was many hours I had to entertain myself. I would have been lost without my phone, and I would have been even more lost if I had to get out of the bed and sit next to a plug on the other side of the room. I packed a wireless speaker and an iPad for music. Now, I know that you can play music off of your phone, but I wanted to have it on a device that was disrupted from everything else and could be responsible for just music. And we played a playlist called Soul Coffee on Spotify. It set the mood to create the absolute best environment I could have possibly experienced labor and delivery in. This playlist is so near and dear to our hearts now, and every single time I listen to it, I have the best memories of what it was like to give birth to my son. Now, those were the most important items for me. For my husband, again, I packed him some deodorant, a toothbrush, and a toothpaste, and I also packed him a change of clothes, just in case, again, anything got spilled on him, or if he did want to spend the night at the hospital with us. I just thought that it made sense to have an extra pair of clothes on hand. It's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. For Louie, and this is another one of my favorite tips for expecting mothers, I packed him a special blanket. It was so warm and so soft and so lovely. And what I did is I slept with it for a couple weeks before I was due to get my scent on it. Now, I don't know if that actually worked, but I really like the idea of it. And it's kind of nice in the weeks leading up to having your new baby to sleep with this soft blanket and just imagine what it's going to be like when they're wrapped up in it. It's a blanket that we used all throughout his first year, and he still loves snuggling up to now. So if you have a blanket you really love for your little one, sleep with it for a couple weeks before they're born, get that mama scent all over it, and I think they'll love getting wrapped up in it when they're here. In addition to the blanket for Louie, I also packed him a going home outfit. I wanted something that was really clean and simple looking, so I had a hat made for him on Etsy with his name on it. It was a shop owned by another mom, which I absolutely loved. And I also just bought him a cute little plain sleeper from Walmart. I wanted to keep things simple and classic looking, and I absolutely loved the outfit that I brought him home in. Now, of course, you don't know how big your baby's going to be until your baby is born, so I packed 2 sizes. I packed a newborn size, and I packed that 0 to 3 month size. Worst case scenario, they don't fit the newborn size and you donate it and you just size up to the 0 to 3 months. I was super happy to have extra sleepers and hats on hand because I wanted to make sure that my baby was always feeling clean and fresh. And lastly, for Louie, I packed him a soother. I was a big soother girl as a baby. I think babies with soothers are the cutest thing ever, so I packed him a soother, and he did end up taking it at the hospital, so I was glad that I did. Now, for the things that are often popular to pack that I decided not to pack. Anti-scratch mitts. Now, these were popular for a really long time with babies, but I have done a lot of reading about this, and the recommendation that I found that made sense to me is that when babies are inside of you, one of the most familiar things to them are their hands, and that's how they kind of comfort themselves. So when they're on the outside and their environment is suddenly new and fresh for them, the hands are one of the most familiar things that really can comfort them and make them feel cozy and familiar. Every single expert that I had read said it's better for your baby to get a small scratch on their face than to not be able to soothe themselves. Now, I encourage you to do some reading on this, educate yourself and make your own decision, but that was the decision that was right for us. The other items I didn't pack were snacks. This is something that a lot of moms say that they pack, but for us at our hospital, it had 24-hour room service, so we were well taken care of. There was a really great food court downstairs in the hospital, and the hospital was right downtown, so there were plenty of options, so I didn't bother with the snacks. I didn't bother packing diapers or wipes because I knew that the hospital again would supply these, and I did not end up needing them, so I'm glad I didn't take up the space in my suitcase. The other thing that I did not pack that is very popular for a lot of moms is a birth plan. Now, I am somebody that is a total over-planner and catastrophizer, and I knew that if I had a birth plan that I couldn't follow because of unforeseen circumstances, that I probably would have gotten really upset and freaked out a little bit. I knew that a birth plan could cause problems for me, so I decided to just go into the moment and focus on creating the best environment for myself that I could, rather than having a strict birth plan that I was planning to follow. Now, if you want to have a birth plan, that's totally fine, and I do recommend writing it down and packing it so you can just take it out and hand it to somebody in the event that your labor is too intense that you don't have the opportunity to communicate as effectively as you would like to. Now, for me, there was a beauty in not having a birth plan, and there was something really great about just going into the experience with no expectations or any hard ideas about the way that I wanted to do things. I focused on doing what felt right in the moment, and I ended up having a really beautiful, really amazing birth experience. So that's it, guys. That is what was in my hospital bag. Like I said, leave us a comment down below and let us know what your must-have items were for your hospital bag so we can be sure to pass that on to other mamas. If you liked today's video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And of course, for all things motherhood, head on over to trulymama.com. Until next time.